Welcome to a special flash episode of the Kindle Chronicles. Today is September 28th, 2021. I'm in Longmont, Colorado. I just watched the Amazon event. It was a virtual event. Dave Limp was the main guy presiding over it. It was filmed at the Spheres, where I attended an event 2 years ago. It was full of interesting things, and it kind of moved along, and there was a new Echo Show 15, a big screen Echo. There's an Echo Glow, a really interesting kids thing. The Always Home Cam is available from Ring. That's the drone that you can fly through the house. And something called Hey Disney, which is like Alexa, only you're talking to the Disney. So it was all moving along at a pretty high level, really nicely paced. I was taking a lot of notes and doing my top 5. And then at the end, it headed to a whole different orbit, and that was the announcement of Astro, which is the home robot. It is going to be available as a day one product, and you can ask for an invite. It's going to sell for $1,000, and the first ones are apparently going to ship later this year. So, of course, I'm going to be putting my name in. It is the cutest little thing. It rolls along, and it has a screen that has eyes that are very kind of emotive, and then it has this, it's fairly low. I don't know exactly how tall it is, so it's rolling around the house, and if you're monitoring something from, say, Florida, and you want to see something that's up on the counter, there's like a periscope that goes up from the robot, and it can look around 360 degrees, and then it can retract, and it's amazing. I think the simplest way to share this with you, I'm going to play the clips which I recorded. Again, this was from my MicMe microphone recording the audio from the laptop, so that the audio is not great, but this is kind of a historic event, I think, and I want to make sure that you get it as quickly as possible. Plus, I have to get on the road to Casper pretty soon. So this is the clip where Dave Limp is announcing Astro. And I had seen in some of the reports lead to this, they might have some news that Astro is coming. I don't think anybody expected it to be this close to real. Dave Limp has been having one in his home for a year now. And so this really becomes, this is certainly the news that you'll be hearing about from this event as soon as all the rest of the media get to their laptops and their outlets to talk about it. Here's Dave Limp talking about Astro.
Thrilled to introduce you to a new kind of household robot that integrates Alexa, advanced hardware, software, computer vision, and AI in a brand new way. And it's a beautiful illustration of how ambient computing can improve customers' lives in a way that traditional consumer electronics just can't. I've had this robot in my home for about a year, and it does so many delightful things. Let's just start with 2 that Jamie and Deborah spoke about earlier: peace of mind and remote care. Even in homes as Alexified as mine, there are still lots of things my home can't do because my devices are stationary. This robot changes all of that. With Live View and the app, you can send it to check on specific rooms, things, people, even pets. For example, the other day when I was at work, I was checking to make sure that our dogs weren't lounging on the couch. They're not allowed to be on. Sure enough, they were on the couch. With the periscope cam, I can also expand my field of view. Technically, building this periscope was incredibly hard, but it's so helpful if you're away from home and want to view things a little higher up, like checking to see if the stove was left on. When you combine the robot with Ring Protect Pro, you get so much more. Now, when you're away, you can use it to proactively patrol your home, investigate activity, and send you notifications when it detects something unusual. All the while, you have the option to save these videos to your Ring account. As I've had this device in my home, I've started visualizing who in my life could really benefit from it. I have an 85-year-old dad who I love dearly, and he's in great shape, but he lives 1,500 miles away. If I could give him a device that helps him live independently and gives me peace of mind, that is truly priceless. Now I can call my dad and it will go find him to deliver the call. Or my dad can set up a routine that sends me a message when he's up and about. And with Alexa together, if anything goes wrong, I know he can call a specialist 24/7. We learned early on in this program that customers don't just want Alexa on wheels. To that end, we've embodied it with a unique persona that is all its own. From adding eyes to the display to a whole host of sounds, the device really comes alive. Let me give you a quick example. Astro, beatbox.
This is amazing.
I just love that one. Astro, take a break. There are so many ways that customers will be using Astro. For instance, it'll bring all of your favorite Alexa features like music and news, podcasts, and timers directly to you. Or if you're doing a video call, Astro will move around with you in the house so that you can continue the conversation. Of course, with a new device like this, we had to think about privacy at every turn. In addition to the many privacy features that customers are used to with Echo devices, we built brand new features as well. Customers can set out-of-bound zones to denote areas where they don't want Astro to go. And you can also turn on Do Not Disturb, which will minimize how much Astro moves during certain times of the day or night. We've also embedded AI processors inside of Astro to allow for as much edge computing as possible. When we kicked off this project, I felt sure that autonomous navigation in the home was a solved computer science problem. 4 years later, I admit, I, for one, truly underestimated the challenge. Everyday life is messy. Floor plans vary, furniture comes in different shapes and sizes, pets move around, and people are constantly setting down sneakers and bags that can block Astro's path. And unlike roads, your house doesn't have lines or maps that help with navigation. The team had to solve for all of that, inventing an entirely new technology construct. One that integrates autonomous movement, home mapping, visual understanding, and more. We had to leverage AI in so many new ways, including using deep neural learning to map anchor points throughout the home, and building new dynamic SLAM algorithms that are constantly refreshing. Now, who better to tell you more about this project than the team that knows it best? Let's go ahead and roll the video.
The next clip, I didn't start it right from the beginning because I wasn't sure if it would be of interest to you, but as it got rolling, it certainly moved me because we were having a chance in the video to see the labs where all of this work was being done and to hear from some of the people on the team. And it starts kind of in the middle of it, and as it goes through it, you'll catch a sense of, as I've said, the history-making aspect of this, and Amazon does a good job of showing you the people who are doing the work and having this kind of inspiration as what they do every day. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people who are filmed in this video are working in Cambridge, Mass, because there's a lot of robotics activity based in Kenmore Square in Cambridge near MIT. So here's the team members talking about it.
So that's when we really started to get into a lot of the fun experiences around sort of inventing what the customer experience should be for a feature that was just a line on a piece of paper prior to that.
We've pulled together technologies from all these different areas to build something that so many roboticists have been dreaming about or thinking about. The question wasn't, should we build it, but why wouldn't we?
Now, Astro can see, infer, hear, understand, but then you add mobility on top of it.
Astro is a robot that can go up to 1 meter per second. It has to detect walls. It has to detect challenging situations.
This is going to be an autonomous device that's driving around your home. We had to make sure that there was a system that was always looking out and can stop Astro in a moment's notice.
SLAM is simultaneous localization and mapping.
This is a standard term used in robotics. It's an old problem. It's not a new problem. The complexity is immense.
It's well known in the SLAM community that people will sort of say, we solved the math 20 years ago. We still haven't figured out how to do it. And this is a great example of how you've actually taken the math and deliver a truly impressive system.
The robot has these cameras, and it'll look around, and it'll find points. And it's able to see if it recognizes where it is in this cloud of points in space. Astro is doing millions and millions of calculations every second. We have multiple neural networks running in parallel based on camera input. We have multiple planners in this thing figuring out what to do and how to tie it all together. And kind of the neat thing about it is it's all packaged up within one robot.
Astro does SLAM really well. To be able to do it locally, do it so fast, map out the world so quickly. I'm really impressed.
Navigating autonomously and, building a map of its own, I mean, that is incredible.
We took inspiration from science fiction and movies and cartoons, places where people had looked into the future and thought about what could it look like to have something in the home to help you.
We wanted to create a personality. Out of the top 100 robots that people love, only 5 of them didn't have eyes.
It's effectively this universal symbol for communication, and we were able to communicate a lot of things that we otherwise wouldn't necessarily have been able to. Also, we got to really think about, what should a robot sound like? Phonemes and motifs and, creating chords.
Most consumer electronic devices are just nuts and bolts. You turn it on, it plays a sound, that's it. Astro comes alive.
This is our first robot, not our last robot.
I think I'm excited to be able to launch Astro and share this with my friends and family and point to Astro and say, this is what I worked on.
It's unlike anything I've ever done before, and the technology that we have built I look at as foundational.
Oh, Astro's a huge step forward. The next question will be, when can I get one?
I am so proud of all the hard problems that the team solved to make Astro a reality.
When can we get it, and what will it cost?
Which is designed to bring our most ambitious ideas to life. Astro will be available for an introductory price of $999. Starting today, you can sign up to request an invite, and we plan to start granting invitations and shipping the device a little later this year.
Well, it's been about 10 minutes since Dave Limp announced Astro. I still don't see any place at Amazon.com where you can request an invitation. I'm certainly going to be checking that all day and seeing if I can get on the list. The videos, and already there's all kinds of news coverage. If you just Google Amazon Astro, you'll see some of these videos. And the screen that Astro has, he can kind of nod up and down. I don't know if it's a he or a she, and swivel from side to side. It's kind of white and black. It's very pleasing. I've seen people talk about the personalization of robots and how important it is to have a personality to interact with. It sort of makes the whole process of accepting robots into your life easier. And you can see the work that has gone into it. Dave Limper, one of them, was talking about the sounds that it makes. It makes these little beeps and all kinds of things. Now, the usefulness of it, well, yes, who knows? I'm not sure I'm going to be able to talk Dad into getting one at his apartment that I could drive around and be with him and just say, hey, how's it going? We have used the drop-in feature, and especially the one with the swivel screen, which, as I thought, was a precursor to Astro. Now the device has the swivel screen, it has blinking eyes, and it can move all around the apartment. That would be pretty cool. So anyway, so I want to tell you about the other items of the top 5 on my iPad. I was arranging these as they came along, and obviously Astro went to the top at the very beginning, at the end after they talked about it. The other thing, which number 2, is the Always Home Cam, and that is also available by invitation only, and it will cost $250. The demo was pretty amazing. It's almost like the robot. It's almost as if they're offering a flying robot and one that rolls around on the floor, because with the Always Home Cam, you can set up prearranged routes through your house so that, if we're in Florida and we want to see what's happening down in the basement, if there's a big rainstorm and I want to see if there's flooding, I could have the Always Home Cam fly a route down the stairs into the basement, look around and see if there was some flooding. That's something that Astro wouldn't be able to do unless I could teach Astro how to use the pneumatic elevator we've got in Cambridge. But the Always Home Cam is pretty amazing, and it can respond to events that are triggered, like the sounds of an intruder or the Ring doorbell. Because it's a Ring device, it syncs up with all of their devices. Number 3 is Amazon Glow, also for $250. All of the big products except for Astro are $250 today. Amazon Glow reminds me of Osmo, which is something I've tried out with my younger grandson, Ryan. And it sets up a tablet, an iPad in the case that I was using, and the tablet is looking at pieces on the table or the desk, and you can move things around in a way that the tablet perceives what you're doing and tells you when you solve the puzzle. So it's a hybrid of a digital plaything and with some physical things that go with it. Well, the Amazon Glow takes this to sort of a whole new interesting level, because the idea is that the child would have a surface, and it wasn't clear to me exactly what it was made out of, but he or she could draw on it, arrange shapes. It's kind of like an interactive surface that the child can do games on, and then the device itself, which is fairly small, can see what they're doing and show the image of a grandparent to the child, and it's the solution to a problem that I have seen, and that is to keep especially a young person interested in what's going on via a screen, as ways to keep a family connected, or, especially grandparents. I'm always thinking about grandparents. If there is actually something for the child to do with their hands but in front of the screen, and it looks like the person at the other end, if Ryan draws something on his little screen, I can see it on my device, however I happen to be looking at it. This is something it was a little hard to tell from the video and the description exactly how this would work, but I really like the concept of having physical activity as well as just what you can do with FaceTime or a drop-in as a way to maintain contact with kids. We're going to be in Florida for 4 months. We had some wonderful time this summer with my grandsons, and anything that would give us a way to connect with them virtually is something I'm excited about. And I like how Dave Limp sets this as kind of a mission that technology serves to connect families, and this Amazon Glow is a very interesting aspect of that. Number 4 is Echo Show 15, $250. This is an even bigger Echo Show than the Echo Show 10. In the pictures that they were showing, it looked huge. It looked like it was 3 feet by 4 feet or something. So, but I'm saying it must be 15-foot diameter. But you can put it on a wall, and it's purported to be the master control center for a home. You might put it in a kitchen, and it shows people's calendars. It reads things that you can set up widgets that would connect with the doorbell, smart home widgets. You can leave sticky notes. Each person participating in it, I could put a note that says, safe travels, Darlene. She's arrived in Bozeman, I just heard during the event. And I don't know what I think of this one, to tell you the truth. It's coming later this year, they said. I think it's going to be a hard sell for me to get one in a way that's useful, and I think it'd be a hard sell to have Darlene use it. It seems like if you had everybody in a family that was all up to date with the equipment, maybe this is something that a family would use. Now, I think my daughter Rue and Mike and their 2 kids, they could easily be that way. I don't know. My older daughters, Sarah and Josh and James. It's hard for me to picture the dynamics of a group of people in a family using it. But it looks intriguing. I will probably try to get one of them just because I want to see what it looks like. Number 5 is a partnership with Disney, and Dave Limp met with a Disney executive at Disneyland, I believe, to announce this. You're going to be able to say, "Hey Disney," as opposed to saying Alexa. And when you do that, you will be connecting with a lot of content from Disney. There will be Alexa devices in all of the Disney resorts that you can say, "Hey Disney, We need towels for our room. And I think for Amazon, it's an example of how they're enabling customers to set up a tailored assistant that has their own brand built into it. And the idea here is now we can have multiple agents on a single device. I think this can be kind of confusing. It seemed like Capital One was doing something like this with Alexa a few years ago at South by Southwest, and I found it kind of disruptive to think of Alexa as a personality, and then all of a sudden she turns into Disney. But if anybody can make it magical, I'm sure that the people at Disney are going to be able to do it. That one is by invitation, and next month I think it may start shipping for $250. I think the most lame, that's a little harsh, but the Halo Band, which I'm using, they now have one called Halo View, which makes it look like a Fitbit, and there's a little screen that'll have information. And speaking for myself, there's no way I'm going to have an Apple Watch on my left wrist and then a Halo Band with a screen on my right wrist. That's just even beyond the pale for me. I don't know how Amazon really competes with Apple on this home health stuff. The Halo is fine, and I've used it to sleep. I haven't used it for doing some of its other devices, and maybe it's more popular than I think it is. But I've had one for over a year now, and other than the sleep information, every once in a while I turn it on and I'm interested. Well, what's my tone of voice? In fact, I'll turn it on right now. I can tell. It'll tell me, well, you sounded nervous or upset or what. I sounded like a man who's trying to finish a podcast in time to get on the road in time. Slow down, Len. But Halo View was the thing which was least interesting for me. Halo Glow, I've talked about it. So that's the top 10. If you're interested in this, there'll be all kinds of coverage, and everybody's going to be talking about Astro. And if I could ever score an invitation to Astro, that would be like amazing. Number 1, Astro, $1,000, a day one product. It'll be by invitation only. Shipping later this year, fairly soon. There's going to be some Astros in some people's homes. Incredible. Number 2, the always-on home drone that can fly through your house and show you if there's a leak in the basement. Number 3 is the Amazon Glow, a new integrative hybrid platform for kids that has the ability to connect families over distance. Echo Show 15, this great big sort of control panel for your home. And hey, Disney, bring me some towels. This was fun. To set the scene a little, it was filmed at the Spheres, which is a beautiful place. These great big round spheres in downtown Seattle filled with trees, and it's like an Amazon rainforest in there. And there had been a lot of people there for the presentation 2-3 years ago that I attended. In this case, each person just came out on the stage. There was a big screen behind them, and the videos were shot, of course, with real quality, talking about what they were doing. In terms of the Amazon people, I was struck by Dave Limp because he's always, I've interviewed him a few times on the show. He's an enthusiastic, energetic guy. He's really at the center of all of these Amazon Alexa devices and services, not just Alexa. I think he's over the Ring as well. And when he started out with a pitch for ambient intelligence, and that they're after technology which connects people and is easy to have all of this AI power available. And I think I can kind of tell when someone is speaking from the heart and they've got a mission to them. And I thought I heard that in Dave Limp. I think that he's upped his game. He's all in. He's being given incredible resources to do amazing things with people on these topics. And today's event, when he had a chance to show what they've been doing and to show the philosophy that is driving it, the connection between people and technology. Of course, all of these companies, Apple, Google, all the rest of them. That's where interesting things are happening. Sometimes they're scary things, the whole issues of privacy. And there was a lot of talk about how all these devices are focused on privacy as the top role and sustainability. But I like Amazon's way of approaching it. They're customer-driven, of course. The Halo band that has the camera or the screen in it is an example. I think when they first came out, they didn't want that, but customers were asking for it. They say, I love your Halo band, but I'd like to have some kind of a display. And he said, that's why we created this Halo View, which is winning my designation of the most lame thing that was announced. So when you have a company that is putting so much focus on the customer, trying to anticipate the customer's needs, and really following them anywhere, that there's a sense not of trying to help the customer be cooler, like Apple sometimes feels like it is. It's trying to find out what the customer is really going to love and then going there and coming up with something that makes a difference. Everybody's got a pretty story to tell, and that was the pretty story that Dave Limp was telling. But I guess what I'm trying to convey is that it seemed like he really believed it, and I like that. That's exciting. There you have it. I'll love hearing from you about if you get an Astro, please ask for an Astro invite. And then I think that in the past, Garrett Riley we've passed off some of these things, and I've had a chance to get use of somebody else's invite. So that would be exciting, and I'd be glad to Venmo you the $1,000 in advance if this happened. But send me an email at podchronicles@gmail.com, and let's see what people think of all of these new devices. And I think I have time to get this up and get on the road to Casper, check out in time, maybe even grab some lunch. Thank you for listening to this roughly drawn flash episode of the Kindle Chronicles, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.